Wasn't Hot 97 the most dangerous lobby in New York for a while? We used to call it Shot 97.
Yes. I beat him once in my entire life, and he never played me again.
Dude, technically you beat Jordan.
I don't know if Michael's going to like that claim.
He's not.
Did you have an exploratory straight period?
Oh, absolutely. I dated a couple of playmates.
But you're like, I've playmates, and you're like, this isn't for me. Yeah, you're gay. But ladies and gentlemen, a very special guest in the building. One of my oldest friends, just a great human.
Thanks.
And I'll list your credits and a little bit and everything else. Everyone might know
A lot of credits, a lot of cool credits.
But the homie Josh Thomas is in the building. You know what's crazy is your DJ name. When I met you, you were going to Zeke Thomas.
Yes.
DJ Zeke Thomas.
Yes.
What does that come from?
So that comes from my dad, Isiah Thomas. His nickname was Zeke.
What is that? Like, what is Zeke? I just know is like a name for a human.
Well,
but does it have another meaning?
You being Jewish, Ezekiel. So my dad had a Jewish coach growing up.
Fire.
Called him.
For basketball?
Yes, for basketball.
Jews coach basketball? We don't play. We usually sign the checks. We don't really. That's crazy.
You can't teach, right?
Right.
That's a fact. But you know what's crazy though about you can't teach? My whole thing is I want the teacher to be the one with the resume, usually.
Yeah.
That's my thing. But it's funny because some coaches really are just amazing coaches just to be teachers. You know what I'm saying? And you know what Zeke is in a barber term?
What? Oh, to mess up your hair,
fuck your
right?
shit up.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You zeked me.
Oh,
Yeah.
because why? Because Jews suck at giving haircuts?
I don't know if it has anything to do with Jews.
No, there's a lot of Baharian barbers. He might have a point there.
Are you Jew? You're not Jewish.
I'm not.
No.
But I love you.
But you took a little Jew name.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. That's really cool. I didn't know
And
that.
Joshua took over after Moses. Keep it real.
Dude, you're very religious. There's a lot of things wrapped up in you. So we met in New York City on the party scene.
Yes.
I don't remember how or when or where, probably at some random nightclub party. You were DJing. I was taking photos, trying to get laid, as one would always be in New York. I got into nightlife because I had no purpose. I would be going out with my friends who were DJs at the time, and I was just standing around and felt like a schlub, because if you're not really participating in the culture of nightlife, then you're just like a guy, and I'm a guy who had no money, nothing going for me, and
Zero value add.
I had zero value added. I was a moocher. Like, I just stood at random tables, and hopefully someone gave me a cranberry
Were you a
vodka.
bottle rat?
I was a bottle rat. Yeah. I was a bottle Jew.
You were the silent guy till you weren't.
I was a real Jew. So then the thing is, I was like, well, all these rich guys, I know how they're getting laid. But I'm like, how am I going to get laid? I was like, oh, I might as well serve some purpose in this building, and I started taking photos. But how the fuck did you fall into nightlife, music, DJing? What brought you to that world?
As I said, my dad played basketball. So growing up, when I would practice with him, I was always really more concerned about what we were listening to. And I gravitated just towards that and was able to get an internship in Indianapolis at a local radio station. And then from there, when we moved to New York, I started working at Hot 97 and being able to be around the late, great Fat Man Scoop,
Sick.
Yeah.
Funk Flex,
Sick.
Angie Martinez, DJ Enough, Mr. C, also late, great. Just being able to watch, learn, get mentored, carry crates, records into clubs.
Wasn't Hot 97 the most dangerous lobby in New York for a while? We used to call it Shot 97.
Yes.
You know
bro,
there were so many shootings in the Hot 97 lobby.
You got goons coming in and out of the spot, and these people are really got actual street beef with each other, bro. You know what I mean? It's like
50 was going 50 in Ja Rule.
so fire. That was my favorite.
That was a great era.
That
were
was
a
my
part of
favorite
radio.
era. Favorite
That was the
era.
last good era of like New York radio.
You were there for that?
Well, it was right when iHeartRadio came in and had Power 105. So I was there for the Hot 97, Power 105. DJ Clue just left, went over. Flex
just keeps
going
dropping
at him.
bombs.
Boom. I'm still number one. Boom. boom.
For like 30 minutes at like 9 p.m. I'm on the BQE. He's like, boom. Like I'm like, Flex, play the song already, bro.
The amount of talking over the music did bother
It's
me.
such a New York thing. And when all my friends would come to visit actually New York, they would always be like, how do you like this? I'm like, this gets me hype.
They're like, I'll be in Hunka Bunka this weekend.
Yes, Flex. Get
Sick.
him, Flex.
Shout out to the
Sick.
janitor. Like they would just. I wonder, were they getting paid for shout outs?
Of
You had to
of
be
course.
getting money on the side. They were shouting out shit that you were like.
Jay gave Hot 97, I think, 100 bands.
No,
The
well, that
first
was the
time when
payola. Well, that was the payola. You know what payola scandal was, right?
No.
So there's a payola. So what happened was radio got fucked because they found out that radio stations were being paid off by record labels to play songs, and they were like, "Yo, like here's $100,000, break the song for us," and that's illegal, which it shouldn't be. I don't even understand how that's illegal because it wasn't disclosed.
What's a monopoly at that
Yeah,
point?
so monopoly is basically
But they still
saying,
do it.
Under the
they've-
table.
no, well, so the
I will admit that I've definitely gotten paid to play records.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what are you supposed to do, bro? Like,
well, I'm gonna be like to do this and get money.
when
Who
someone
would
tells
that-
me, "Yo, shave my back for extra 100," I might have to shave their back. You know what I mean? How you doing?
say if someone asked me to shave their back, I would do it too, and I'm not even a barber.
I'm
But-
luckily
but-
I don't have
but-
back hair yet.
But what, back hair?
What if I ask somebody to shave my ass? I got a lot of ass
I'd shave your
hair.
ass.
I mean, that's 5 bands at that point.
Oh,
That's,
that's five.
that's not 100. That's not 100, bro. You got to throw at least a five stacks on that. Like,
$500 to shave someone's ass.
5 stacks means 5,000.
$5,000 to shave.
$5,000.
Bro, you're out of
Damn.
your mind.
Homie,
Damn.
we're getting to the booty cheeks. If somebody goes out there spreading, yo, this barber's been shaving my booty cheeks, that's crazy.
Yeah, but
so
dude,
you have to be like,
yeah.
yo, he paid me 5,000 to go. Oh, you're right.
You don't have enough street
It's cool.
cred. You don't have enough clout
And
to
wait,
demand
is
$5,000.
the shaving happening? You're saying in the shop, or is like you
I come
coming
to you-
over
for $5,000. You're coming
You
over.
better come
You're
over.
sucking my dick and shaving my.
And I'm
dick.
putting it on video, so I can play this shit back, homie. That's so funny. But that's really cool that you got to do that.
Yeah, and then moving into nightlife, hustling, fighting for gigs. I mean, that was also a really competitive time. You were coming off of DJ AM, the big checks were coming in, open format, Risen Sizz.
The best.
Fucking fire.
And you only had you had One Oak and Butter Group, you had Tao Group, you had what was it? Catch Group? What was it
Catch
called?
didn't even
M
really go.
Group?
It
M
was at
Group?
that time they had
SL and
SL
10
was
June.
SL 10 June, but then you had like the Sway. When there's New York is so much worse now than it was back then. It was when open format when you were coming up. That was the golden era of New York nightlife because everyone went out for the party, not the DJ. The DJ was important once you're in there, but it wasn't a concert. It wasn't a ticketed event, and the venue and the vibe was more important. And New York could sustain itself with hundreds of small clubs for different vibes. Tuesdays here, Wednesdays there. Now it's like, oh, who's playing there?
playing?
Oh, is Tiesto not coming? Then forget it. I don't want to go.
I don't want to hear
but
this new guy who sounds amazing, but
Yeah, it was a fucking party.
Back in the day,
then.
my boy would literally go to wash his door at Avenue, and he's like, at the door, he's like, "Can I get in?" And he's like, "Who are you, bro?" And then the guy's like, "My friend, he's playing tonight." He's like, "Who is it?" DJ Shapiro. He goes, "All right, cool. Give me 5 minutes." 30 minutes later,
Never come back.
he goes, "Can I get in?" He goes, Who are you, bro?
But that's the nicest was you'll ever get. If that's, you should be like, that dude loves me. If he just says,
spoke to you?
And you know what he said to him afterwards? He said, "Yeah, he's like, you can get in." He's like, "When?" He's like, "Tomorrow."
aren't you guys close tomorrow?
Yo, and the craziest thing is, Naps used to be arguably harder to get through at Oak than the actual doorman, the security
the
guard.
security guard keeps it real.
Yeah, he was
They
the
keep
one
it
that
real.
he's like, "You fucking up my pipeline." He goes, "I need 100."
Yeah, until those guys got fucking shredded by the Gracie family. You remember that? You don't remember the story? Oh my God, you got to pull this up real quick, Aaron. Can you just look up One Oak Gracie, Gracie? What happened was Renzo, the Gracie family, the MMA family that invented Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, basically.
Yeah.
They got deaded at the door of One Oak. They're like, oh, cool. We'll see about that. They go around the block in a car, pull up, beat the shit out of the entire One Oak door staff.
And Craig, yeah,
Put Craig in the hospital. Craig, the door guy. You remember Craig? Dude, they
You
fucking...
played at Oak, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Craig worked at Juliet, I believe, after that.
Crazy
it was a
Tim.
fucking wild time.
Not-
But
not hear that story. That's real.
They broke his. They broke
Aaron,
his.
is it out there or
They
not?
broke his rib.
no, it's just
Yeah.
like there should be an article about One Oak Gracie family. What is that? Can you just blow that up real quick?
That looks like
Monitor
a
wise?
real boxer.
Oh, there you go. Renzo Gracie has broken his silence over the alleged MMA gang attack on One Oak bouncer Craig, in which it was alleged that Gracie and 6 of his cohorts from the Gracie class rolled up to the club in a gray van and went all shown up on him.
Because he called it because you're fat and ugly.
Yeah.
That's what he called
But
him.
that was such a great era of nightlife. Like, Was and that crew.
You guys probably had such a good time.
Well, when you're working, you get away. You
Yes,
can
you
get away with
it.
it. So you get to be like, oh, I'm part of the circus and I got to watch. Dude, the amount of girls that walk up to Catch, to SL at the time, and Alex Julian was the doorman there, and he would clock you from across the block, because the big thing you would be is like, imagine us 3 were about to go to Catch. I mean,
you split up right before the door.
You get out of the cab, you're like, bro, you walk up 10 minutes after me, I'll walk up 5 minutes, try to scoop some girls. But they already know. Everything's on swivel, and they see 3 dudes, they're here together, they're just going to reconnect inside
so
the
you
club.
guys came in the same cab, that's $1,000 each.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know the crazy part? That's how they would treat men. Because like, all right, we'll bang him over the head for money, but a girl is not going to buy her way in. And you show up. I've seen girls walk up, 4 hot girls, 1 fat girl. He'll be like, those 4 are good. This pig can't come in. Like, literally call a girl fat and short
they were
and a
bad.
pig.
They were bad. They were bad. Are you actively still DJing?
That's definitely actively still DJing. I wish I did it more. It's such a love for me. But dealing with like my other businesses, now working for the Phoenix Suns. Also, you know, I have my champagne business, Shalon Champagne. Drink.
World's first black-owned champagne brand.
Fire.
Champagne brand.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You have a
I might
lot
have
of
to
things.
get a sponsorship out of this.
Hey.
I'm starting to pour champagne again.
And you being an advocate and all that other stuff that you do, it's a lot of things you got on your menu, dude.
I mean, I literally could be helping with reparations if I just keep pouring black-owned champagne on drunk white bitches.
You know
And
what?
we just call it the reparation special.
Reparation special.
Yo, the
I kinda
reparations
like it.
champagne shots, crazy,
Dude.
That's funny. That's great. But you, how do you manage all of this?
You got to get up in the morning, first of all. You can't sleep all day. That's something that I definitely learned from my DJ days of I'd wake up and, oh my God, half the day's gone. What am I going to do?
But wouldn't it also be so much pressure to not waste your day when your father's such an icon, right? You're like, my dad works so hard, and we're arguably always trying to prove ourselves to our parents, right?
Absolutely.
To be like, you walked so I could run, you didn't walk so I could sleep, right? So like, I need to work just as hard.
I have always tried to compare myself to my father, and it was such unrealistic like expectations because we are our own people.
Of course. And you didn't have a Jewish coach.
My dad became, Hall of Fame greatest at his craft.
Beast.
You
Beast.
know?
Yeah.
So, and there were other things that he's good at and other things that he's bad at, and I have my strengths and whatever, I'm not Einstein, I think, at any of them, but I do pretty well.
I mean, listen, you have a lot of accolades, and it's very respectful.
Thank
you
you.
do a lot of good work out there, so it's good, and you enjoy your time too because you have the creative outlet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. I get to balance the creative with the basketball, with the activism. I get to do things that I love. It's definitely still a grind, still a work.
Yeah, for sure.
But I see myself moving in such a more positive direction now that I'm doing healthy things. There were 3 years when I was just doing drugs and getting drunk.
Yeah. What years were those?
We weren't friends.
This is before nightlife?
No, this
During
is during. This is probably, we were friends, but this was.
We wasn't in my
this
sphere.
was 2017 to 19.
Oh, okay. So you had a little run.
Were you still in New York at the time?
I'd moved to Chicago,
Okay.
and then I was like back and forth Chicago, New York, then tried to get back to New York. But I was going through.
You
it.
need that.
Yeah.
You need to play a little. You need to have a little fun in life.
But you don't gotta go to the point where you hit bottom.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But you need to.
Definitely.
I believe in a bottom. I believe that you need.
I believe in a bottom too.
I know you do. Yeah.
Yeah, he believes in the bottom. I love that.
I'd be a
I
bottom.
was waiting to see if one of you guys are gonna drop
Had to
that.
take it.
That's so good.
My ass is too hairy for a bottom.
Yeah, my shit is nasty too. I'm not gonna lie. I
Go
gotta
speak
choke.
to that barber.
to myself. I gotta shave my own ass.
Yo, you know what's wild is I was just thinking about it. When I would try to go out and get laid, you know how you just kind of tidy up your apartment and shave your dick, right? It would, man, being gay, it would be hard for me to shave my, like I'd have more things that I got to maintain.
Yeah, but I feel like gay guys, like, even though, like, I feel
We
like it's
understand,
preference.
though.
Yeah, they
we
understand the
understand.
pheromone.
Yeah.
They understand what's
Because
going
you're
on.
still a dude. You're like, yeah, you're dirty like
come
me,
on,
bro.
man. It is
We're-
good. It is good.
I always say that my final form, I should have been gay because, like, I would just be around my boys. I would just be with the boys and still get blowjobs, as they say.
And also,
right?
you don't got to be as traditional. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing.
And you can hit your partner and no one judges you.
Jesus.
Jesus. You know what I mean? Like,
a little wrestle. If you wrestle, a little grappling. Honestly, with
I
the,
am not advocating for domestic
not-
violence. However, I
know,
will
I
say we can go at it a little bit more than we
That's
can put our
funny.
heads
That's
together.
funny. That's funny.
yeah, yeah.
Oh boy. As far as the NBA goes, how do you carry the crazy extreme fans of like your dad when they, because you know there's a huge rivalry, like there's that whole beef with your dad and like Jordan and all this other stuff, and when the documentary came out, obviously it's dead now.
Yeah.
And it's all like mutual stuff. It was just a game. People really can't, they can't dislocate the two. But your pops comes from a generation where like these dudes really got down.
They got down.
And your
and
pops' eyes, like when you're
it was
watching this
before
documentary, it's
social
crazy.
media and everything was covered by, you know, the media, the newspaper, and you know there definitely was still misinformation definitely put out there. But you know, speaking of my dad and Michael Jordan, you know, my dad grew up in Chicago, and then Michael Jordan came to Chicago and obviously became excellent. But there still were things in Chicago that Michael Jordan needed my dad's help for in terms of places where he shouldn't be.
See, you got here. I'm from here. Yeah.
You know? There's just
I
things
love it.
about that. And, you know, that part of their relationship in terms of, you know, he helped you in certain things.
Yeah.
Like, y'all weren't just, you know, always assholes. You know, Michael Jordan took a picture with me at All-Star Weekend.
Was the beef? I don't know anything about sports. I'm sorry. So the beef was the beef real, or was it like, hey, this also helps elevate us both to be bigger than the sport sometimes?
I don't think it's pre-planned like that, though.
Yeah, I think the beef was real just in terms of competitiveness.
Yes, exactly.
You know, like my dad is the only person who can say I beat Michael Jordan more than he beat me. Not many people can say that.
That's OD.
Damn.
That's OD.
And the fact that
That's
like
OD.
my dad makes sure he knows that.
Yeah, but that's why I put up
billboards in Chicago.
You know, but I love that. We live in a world where like, oh, don't be so competitive. Blah, 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 blah. Like, yo, I love that. Like, yo, I love that direct eye contact and be like, yo, just so you know. Just so you know.
It brings out the best in everyone, right? It pushes me to then be like, fuck, right? Like sometimes you need a little.
Yeah.
And then
a little.
Jordan's like this. He's like, shit,
Exactly.
fuck.
But I think, you know, like you said about the documentary, you know, my dad took very personal, you know, Michael Jordan calling him an asshole.
For sure.
And I think the reason he took it personal is over the years, you know, these documentaries, these things, you know, yeah, my dad does the appearances, the videos, the talking, the whatever, but you're asked to do that. You know, Nike will call or Michael himself will call. Hey, can you do this? Da-da-da-da-da. My dad's like, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, if I knew if I knew Carell was calling me an asshole, you think I'd be here?
Nah, obviously not. Because then you're just like, this is disingenuous. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. That's fire.
That's
so fire. I love shit like that. That documentary is obviously cool as hell. Your pops is insane because you see how aggressive he was. This dude was.
How quickly did you realize basketball's not for you?
Wasn't going to be able to play
It was
basketball. I
in the
knew
thing.
you were going
I was just saying, at what point are you like, and your dad just goes, yeah, so let's just take a look at this music thing again.
So my dad, you know, I played basketball. I played actually on an AAU team with Mike Conley, Greg Oden, Daquan Cook. Like we had a nice run. I wasn't getting, you know, 30 minutes a game, but you know,
No, you definitely. I feel like you still had it in you though.
But I was never gonna be at that level because my love
Wasn't
was
there.
music.
Yeah, I get it.
was
But it's
music.
also hard to, right, to like see your dad, like I would, in
the
that.
pressures of the outside world saying like, here's the funny thing. These were funny questions. I don't get it asked anymore.
Yeah.
But like from 16 to like 30, I would
Jeez.
get asked this question. So are you as good a basketball player as your father?
Big, are you wearing my
I'm
jersey?
like, wouldn't you fucking know that?
So weird. People are so weird. Like a stupid ass
You
question.
should be like, yeah, it's just not.
it's not just.
Like,
I didn't want to do it.
How old's your dad?
I think 63 now.
Could you beat him
maybe
now?
64. So I played my dad. This was like, I was in Indiana, so he was in his 40s. But I beat him once in my entire life, and he never played me again.
Bro, you
Really?
Jordan him? You I would have put up that bill. But
You
don't
guys
ever
were
let him forget-
going at it. It was aggressive. Yeah.
We were going at it.
And you beat him.
Pacers practice court, and I beat him.
Dude, technically you beat
I
Jordan.
got up, dunked, and he was like, all right.
Yo, you actually beat Jordan.
by
Jordan,
by
technically.
association, you beat Michael Jordan.
I don't know if Michael's going to like that claim.
He's not. He's not. You know what I love about that school of guys, bro, that we lack nowadays, is it doesn't matter how old you are. They still carry that shit so deep inside their chest that if they compete about us flipping this cup right now, they're gonna try to perform their best. Like at this table, they'll be like, "Yo, let's flip this bottle." Be like, "No, I'm gonna get it first."
Yeah, heads or tails.
And it
Heads
doesn't
or
matter.
tails.
And it doesn't matter if you're 8 years old or 10 or 30. They're like, "No, I'm gonna beat you."
And then you add gambling on top of that. You know, like if it's real money. Like that's the thing when you said about the fans. What's interesting now is now that people have skin in the game,
Yeah.
it's a little more intense because
They feel like they own you.
when they exactly, and they don't.
Obviously,
They
of
don't.
course.
There's nothing to do.
course.
But the disillusion of me saying, "Oh man, I just bet my mortgage on this game," and you decided that you weren't gonna play.
Right. Or you got in a
Damn.
fight with your wife
Or
or something and you played bad.
Your choice, homie. You fucked up with the mortgage.
Yeah.
Should have, you know.
You should have rolled the dice.
What's your favorite part about working with the Suns? You would say.
My favorite part about working with the Suns is I'm working with a solid group of people.
Wait, can I just ask what you do with the Suns?
So I'm a NBA pro scout. It's
So you just go. So what is that? Is it just
It's
like
Adam
that?
Sandler in the movie that we just watched, the recent movie that came out on Netflix. He was technically a scout, right? But
Yeah.
he's basically like a freelancer scout, where they basically like he works for a company and they send you out, and he scouted that guy from Spain. It was based on a true story. I forgot exactly what the movie's called. but
Yeah, they
it
make
just
that
came
movie
out.
every 3 years.
Yeah.
They make that movie every
But
3
you
years.
basically
Some
gotta- you
some
go-
white coach guy goes to like the hood, finds a guy that no
Finds
one
a
believes in,
prospect.
and then
But-
they're like, "This guy," you know.
So you basically get sent out to high schools or colleges, or how does it go?
Yeah, so I don't want everybody to see where I'm coming, but I
Yeah.
go to a lot of the high school grassroots tournaments, and then I watch our team and rooting for our guys.
Sick. It's a cool ass job.
Yeah,
And also, it's so cool because you probably connected with the players a lot, and you become like homies with them, right?
yeah, and I've known some of these guys like all my life, and some of them are the sons of other players or sons of people who have been around the league. It's definitely very family oriented. Like whenever NBA All-Star Weekend is always like a family reunion, so to speak.
It's like Thanksgiving.
Right, so
huh?
you do give a fuck about the sport, even though you were like, I might not be good enough to play, but you're still in
I've
the.
always loved it.
So then,
I
was-
mean, you remember when we went when
Dude,
we brought you down to Miami?
This was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, this was my nightlife is very important. And a lot of people like dismiss nightlife as being this like super deviant environment, which it is. But deviant environments bond people, right? Because we both now share secrets of what happened.
Yes.
And then that makes us closer. And then from there, you find out that underneath it all, we're all just people. We come from somewhere. And when him and I started hanging out, like I said, I don't know anything about sports, and which kind of helped me because I didn't treat you any differently than just like meeting a dope kid and a DJ. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, you know whose dad is? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, they're like, oh, it's like the rivalry. I'm like, I don't know any of this.
No, for
but
sure.
Then he's
and it's more genuine that way too,
but
because you don't.
I was building my photography career, and he hits me, and he's like, yo, do you want to go to Florida, Miami with us and shoot the NBA All-Star Weekend? And he put me on the fucking court. I literally sat on
Bro,
the
I
court.
would slap
I
you for
shot.
that- for
I had
that
photos of
opportunity.
like Dwayne Wade. I had everyone.
Sick.
It was such a cool. And I also realized right there and then I would never want to shoot sports. It is so difficult.
what
I
he
thought
said.
I
He
was
said
like,
it
yo,
was
I can
difficult
shoot.
to get some
Yeah,
shots.
because they move so fast, and I'm used to sluggish fat white girls like. And you're like, I could shoot that all day. These guys are. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah, you definitely gotta be out there with the scope. Fucking
Yeah,
For real.
Snapping.
It was awesome. But did you feel like you had to be a fan of your father? Did you hang, or were you like a fan of other players? Were you like, oh, I
So
love my
I'm
dad.
sure you guys can find it, but there is a picture of me in a Jordan jersey.
Oh,
I loved Michael
you-
Jordan. I had a picture of a life-size poster of Michael Jordan in my bedroom. My dad was really cool for allowing that to happen, for allowing, like, you know, Jordan's in the cosmos. Like, every kid loves Jordan. Be like Mike, Nike, Gatorade. He's everywhere.
It takes a lot of confidence from the dad to be like, yo, do your
But sure
thing.
you go
yeah, but when
aside.
your dad tucks you in, be like, remember who beat him though. Remember who's better.
And then he's
Might
holding
be
the-
better. Might be better at marketing and other shit.
You know
but,
what?
like, you know,
He did.
while you're sleeping, he's in the room
Whispering
like,
sweet nuggets.
Daddy's better.
110.80.
Is your pops like your pops like a World War II vet when it's like all those like the
Oh, he's
the close
definitely
family
telling war
the,
stories.
the family dinners where they're like, yo, just so you remember, just remember that I did this.
Yeah, just remember.
You're welcome, family.
I would love
This
to
is
be.
what happens when you beat Michael Jordan, guys.
I swear, I would love to be a fly on the wall for one of those dinners, really badly.
Absolutely.
It would be sick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because my grandpa used to do that. Because my grandpa actually served in World War II, and his whole thing is after he served in World War II is that he would, every time they would have a big gathering, they would recite the same story like 30,000 times.
But they only had 2 stories back then.
And my grandma and my mom were like, bro, we know.
heard
We
this."
know. You sang for the choir, for the big, this, that. You shot this, and this guy got shot. We know. We know.
Life was boring back then. You had like 3 activities to talk about ever in your accomplishments.
Something to be proud of. One day, you know, somebody will be talking about your war stories.
Hopefully they're not the DJ ones.
What is...
Yeah, I mean, those are just captured on photo. Thank God I wasn't shooting video back then.
Oh, wow.
What-
Gold Bar.
my
R.I.P.
God.
Gold Bar.
What's your favorite memory from Gold Bar?
I remember going in Gold Bar. Jesse Marco was DJing. And Jesse's like, hey. I think it was the first time me and Jesse met.
This is Sunday night.
Yeah, we're both, you know, in the scene competing, but, you know, he's Jesse. And he's like, hey, Zeke, what's up, man? Because I'm standing there, I'm like, oh, shit, you know my name? All right, motherfucker. So start talking to him. And he's like, I hear you vibe. I hear you good. He's like, I'm like, oh, you want me to play? He's like, nah.
That's fucked up. Shit.
But that was like the Gold Bar attitude.
Yeah.
It was that. It was one of the only clubs that had the like New York mob mentality. Like they just kind of like you walk out on your check, they'll stomp you at the door.
Back
They'll
in the
beat
day,
the
yeah.
shit out of you there.
Back in the day,
those
yeah.
those door guys fight back.
And then another memory, I definitely had sex in that room also.
Oh, the back DJ room or the bathrooms. That
DJ room, yeah.
Gold Bar was.
A lot of people used to, I feel
Gold Bar
like.
was fucking freaky.
Go Bar, and definitely a lot of weed.
Yeah.
A lot of weed, a lot of hip hop.
Hip hop
Gold
was
Bar
so
was the
fire.
great
Yeah,
spot.
such a good spot.
The one crazy story I remember is when they wouldn't let ASAP Rocky in, he threw a bottle of piss at Johnny Lennon at the door,
That's wild.
and they just chased him. They didn't get him, but they were
I
like,
fuck with ASAP because ASAP is a real like New Yorker. Like he doesn't give a fuck if some shit is fucking.
yeah, but he walked in, he would have been gone. Like you wouldn't know he exists after. Like Gold Bar's one of those places they'll make you disappear if they need to. Like those are like real. You
Those
want
are
to talk
real
about
bouncers.
street like Brooklyn,
Yeah.
New York guy. Like they will.
Gold Bar was a good spot. Good spot. It was so fire, bro. The Dipset, you would come in and you just hear that Dipset playing. It was so fire. I really mean it. And then it was just go crazy.
But Gold Bar was the only club where I felt honored to be let in.
Yeah,
Like every
and
other
I
club
felt
you
at
get
home.
in.
I felt at home, and like I did feel like shit. You can luckily come in here anytime. They treat you right.
yeah, I love the bartender at the
You know,
fridge.
you don't got to deal with Waz. I love
Oh,
you,
Waz-
man.
You just got to deal with a whole different set of characters.
I'm lucky. Thank God for you, but because of you, Was never gave me any issues. Like he would always be super cool with me, and he was like, "Oh, you dress good. You're fine. Come on, let's go. I like those leather shoes."
I'm not sure I believe it.
No,
but
he-
it has happened many times.
Yeah, I
where
mean-
he's like, I forget your name, but I know.
I know I should be letting you in.
I know.
Dude.
I'm like, bro, it's been like 16 years.
But those door guys don't forget. Dude, my favorite thing about going to New York now is like when I'll go out and you talk to Was at the door, he is such a great pile of shit still, where there'll be 500 people outside of the club clamoring to get in, and he stands there and gives you full attention and talks to you and just ignores this entire sea of people, and you're like chopping it up, blah blah blah, like laughing with him, talking about everything.
Meanwhile,
and then you're like, meanwhile, there's like 300 people, and you're like,
My favorite
could I
is
get
when,
in? I know you guys are catching up, but like, I'd like to go out.
My favorite is when he keeps fixing the gloves when he's talking to you and it's cold. He fixes the leather gloves every time. He just goes like this.
He used to park his motorcycle outside of fucking Marquee and Avenue, and there'd be like a drunk girl trying to touch that thing. Oh my god, you want to see someone get fucking rocked?
Was is a good
New York
one.
nightlife was
And
crazy time.
What's your favorite New York nightlife story? You would say, or nightlife story that you would like? It's like a euphoric memory.
It's Marquee. Before Marquee was renovated, Mel DeBarge was DJing, and Rihanna's there. Wow. And he's like, bro, you gotta be like chill. Like I'm Mel's Mel, and I'm still like figuring it out, working my way up. Him and MOS are like mentoring.
Mel's got one turntable.
Yeah, Mel got the
one turntable. Mel.
And so I'm chilling, and I start smoking a blunt. And Mel turns to me and says, what the fuck you doing? Like, chill, Mel.
You're fine.
You see, you don't use your power enough. I'd be like, my dad beat Jordan. Shut up.
Literally.
So then I smoked it, and then of course security comes by and says, put that out. He's like,
I'm like, this is Rihanna's.
Chill, Zeke. And then, okay, I got one more story. At Boom Boom Room, okay? Dancing, having a good time. Well, actually, it's Boom Boom Room and LeBain. Right? Like,
Yep.
walk back and forth. Whole thing's
Which is crazy because the two places could not be polar opposites.
Right.
Boom Boom Room is like, oh my God, like royalty. And you go to LeBain and you're like, I might get syphilis in this fucking hot tub. You've never been to LeBain?
I've never been
Have
to
you ever
LeBain.
gotten in?
Yes.
I've gotten in once.
The standard, the standard hotel in Manhattan? So it's the Boom Boom
barely
Room.
get into that one.
And then LeBain was
Gansevoort,
it was
was it?
no a standard
Across the
hotel.
street, pretty
Oh,
much.
okay.
So the LeBain was just a nightclub, but they put a fucking hot tub in the corner of the nightclub. There's literally like the size of this room. It was just a hot tub you can get into at any moment,
That's mad weird.
dude.
It was.
So-
They had a lifeguard too.
Really?
You're like shit face. You're like, I just watched someone fucking slip into the hot tub.
So basically, everybody is shit faced and dancing around the hot tub. People are going back and forth. And I had set my coat in one of the banquettes because me and my friends had gotten there early, because we're not celebrities. So we got there early and we're hanging out and set it down. But then, it's time to leave. Trying to get my jacket under this banquette, and this woman's sitting on it, so I start pulling it, and she stands up, turns around, so I'm able to get my jacket. It's Beyonce.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, oh. She's like,
Were you still wet from the hot tub?
I just walked. No, I had not got in the hot tub, but at that moment, I probably was wet. I was so shocked. I'm like, I better you can have my coat.
Could I just sniff the coat after you?
At that time, that's a wild move for sure. I remember I got caught walking in with Rihanna through Oak.
Ooh.
So you know what happens is when she was going to Oak heavily, Richie would organize a whole fucking parade of people protecting her as soon as she walks in. But you know that there's two ways to get to the bathroom at Oak. There was this first stair when
then
you
the one in
walk
the
in,
back.
and then
Yeah.
one in the back. So I went to the one in the back because we had the tables in the back, and I said, fuck that. I want to do a whole little spin around because I hated standing at tables. That should annoy the fuck out of me. So I'm like, I want to see who's in the club. So I go straight through the other side. As I'm walking in, the bouncer doesn't notice me. And I'm like, I'm waiting for this guy. What the fuck? So I walk in, and I'm right behind this chick. And she's kind of like my height, but a little shorter. And she has this like silky like thing. And I'm like, wow, she smells so good. I'm like, what the fuck? I look around.
You tried to hit
she
on her.
turns. I'm like trying to kind of like put my hand on the back, because somebody's not moving. I'm like giving a little tap so they can get out of the way because I'm like, I'm trying to get through. But I'm not paying attention because I'm faded, She turns around and looks me dead in the face. I go, oh. And the first thing that comes into my head, I'm like, ponder replay.
How ugly do you feel inside? probably feel like me when I
said,
talk to
my
girls.
heart
You're
dropped.
like,
My heart dropped. I said, damn. I said, her skin is fire. I'm like, she's flawless. I said, I got stunned right away, but then I had to like go into New York.
Out of it.
I had to go into New York mode and do the whole like, oh, you ain't shit kind of like vibe. You know what I mean? So I went straight, looked at her, I said, I don't want to even be here. I said, I don't even want to be behind you. I said, fuck that. And then she kind of got a little worried because she didn't think she thought one of her friends was behind her. So I said, I don't even want to be here anyway. So I just skedaddled.
You made it your choice before she called security. I don't want me here.
Because she was about to be like, yo, get this kid out of here. You know what I mean? Who is this, bro? He's tapping me on my back. But I remember that. That was pretty crazy, honestly. That was the closest I got to it.
That era of New York partying is gone with the celeb culture like that. Just because everyone's got a phone now, I get it why they don't really go out.
Yep.
And the only ones going out now are like fucking influencers, and that's so fucking boring.
And the influencers are on their phone.
It's so boring.
Trash.
It's so
Trash.
boring now. Like
Whack.
you'd be lucky, you know, if imagine partying and seeing like Robert Downey Jr. Right? That's cool.
And
I
bro,
don't want to see some fucking TikToker.
And also in the club, you stood out back in the day, depending on how good you were at communicating. Meaning, like, how good were you on the cold approach to talk to random people, and then they'd be like, "Oh shit, that's that kid. I remember him from this." And next thing you know, you just start forming those bonds. Now, bro, it's like if you're not popping up on the picture on the phone, they don't see you in the club.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's also harder to pick up women now, I feel like, for guys, because women have their own money now. Back then, it was like, you know, just a club full of bottle rats, and you could kind of assert a little bit of like,
That's
you know,
crazy.
Got your own money.
right? But
He's got a lot of fans, that boy.
You got a lot of fans because there's a lot of angry people, rightfully so.
100%.
yeah.
Our healthcare system is dismal, and you shouldn't be worried about should I go to the doctor because I'm gonna have to pay a bill. Like, if people here in LA are having smoke inhalation problems and coughing and stuff, and basically are gonna need asthma treatments or whatever, and go
But
to the
just call that a
hospital,
pre-existing
you know what
condition.
I mean, listen, you know, this is just a vicious circle of capitalism because people do their jobs for incentives. Back in the day, doctors used to actually do their job because it was a calling.
Right.
You know what
you're
I'm saying?
right
So,
about that.
so
They also used to
Doctor
tell
would
you
show
to
up
smoke
with the
cigarettes and
bag.
smoke coke.
and that's why Western medicine is Western medicine, because back in the day when they would actually go and figure out all these holistic ways to heal somebody, they had to go through, you know, a lot of people had to die to get to,
Yeah, but to be fair, in Russia, if you had like some weird shit, my grandma would put like a potato in your sock, right? And be like, oh, hopefully that'll fix his cancer, right? It's also, there's a balance between, you know, a little bit of capitalism to help, you know, fund research, or putting vegetables in your clothing, hoping that'll help.
all I'm saying is sometimes somebody got to get popped.
I think every day a CEO should be murdered.
Jeez.
That's only 365 CEOs a year. That's it. Dude, think about how many people die. Someone's dead.
600
Someone's
Sunday-
dead.
600
right now,
Sunday.
someone's dying. Someone in the world right now is dying. I'm only asking for one of these to be a CEO a day.
To be a big hitter,
Just
somebody
that
who
you
could
need-
make a big impact.
It's called, you gotta keep people in check. And there's nothing wrong. Like, they keep every other demographic in check somehow, right? Keep those guys in check a little bit.
Yeah,
Would
they
you
have-
cry?
yeah.
Would you cry?
Oh, you know what
I
it
don't
is?
cry.
I don't cry. You know why? Listen, I'm on.
I have no tear ducts.
I'm on both sides. Where obviously, listen, I'm not here promoting murder, bro. But I'm just
I am.
saying. I'm saying, nah, it's not about that though. I'm saying on a logical standpoint, it's just somebody's got to keep those guys in check too. We can't constantly be just listening to everything they think is
because
right.
The government was supposed to keep them in check.
You feel me?
Until they bought the government.
Until they bought the government.
Yeah.
I mean, I strongly believe should be a certain amount of industries that are not profit. That fine. Even if the CEO needs that $150 million salary, I'm okay with that. But don't make it a for-profit. Like, you guys shouldn't be making more money than the salaries require. And then the rest of the money should be given back to the people that need it, right? It's the same way with, I believe, like half the infrastructure in this country, right? Like the post office shouldn't be for money, shouldn't be a for-profit industry, but they constantly talk about post office is losing money. It's like, it shouldn't be making money.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Insurance. Education should be free in this fucking country.
Yeah,
These people,
should.
our country is fucking stupid.
dumb.
And especially,
Dumb.
because now we have to learn from the internet and we're being taught by people who are like pseudo-intellectuals. Just because you can talk well doesn't mean you're smart.
Correct. It
You
doesn't
know?
mean you can teach.
Yeah, and you might
Everybody does learn differently and slower and whatever, and I truly do believe people can get it, but they do got to try.
Yes, sir.
You know, like
that part.
when I was in class, I sucked at math. I was horrible at math. But I feel like I tried, you know?
Yeah.
I tried for my D's and C's.
I feel you. I trust me.
Now
I
you don't
get
need
it.
to, because when we were growing up, you had a certain amount of career paths. Now you're like, I'll just show my tits. It's the easiest thing to do.
We live also in an interesting time because the actual educational system is so outdated, especially now that we have AI. It's disgusting that I can diagnose myself a little more accurate than a doctor.
I mean, before it was
can.
WebMD, so it's slightly better than it used to be.
So, like,
every headache was cancer.
Yeah.
On WebMD.
And now that you know what I mean, like AI is teaching me faster than like a teacher can. I'm just like thinking, I'm like, what are you guys planning on doing with this? Because let alone the educational system is a business, which is okay, cool. But
How
now,
do you teach?
Not okay.
yeah, how are you guys?
How
How
do
are you
you
guys
teach
gonna?
if I have
yeah,
all the answers?
for real? Like, how are you guys gonna now? How are you guys gonna get through to a 13-year-old that basically you make no sense to? You know what I mean? Because he's like, yo, I don't know what you're talking about. I just proof checked this, and you're wrong.
Sigma.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So it's like we're living in a very pivotal time right now. It's the Renaissance. You know what I mean?
Do you hear the people sing?
There it is. Oh, nice
you know,
voice.
you know,
Yeah,
what's
nice voice.
like wild to me is I never thought in my lifetime that things that happened in history would be truly questioned whether they happened. Right? I just thought that and you just realize how stupid people are. Like, I wasn't around for the Holocaust, but I
know
believe
it
it
happened.
happened. Right? There's enough, you know, it's like I've never been to China, but I know it exists, right? So it's the same shit. And now you're like, dude, we're less than 100 years out from the Holocaust, and it's already now we're entering this era where people are like, yo, this is all that conspiracies. Like, well, how do you hide 6 million? And you're just like, oh my God, we're just dumb. We're just dumb.
Bro, we were just privileged. We're just entitled people. And then when you don't have modern, like the struggles, let's say other countries do, you start just out of boredom picking things to fucking get mad about too, right? So
Well, it's
like,
you know how we were talking about the MAGA hat and my merch is it creates an identity for people. I think some of these people might not always believe in the shit they say, but
Yeah.
they understand the shit they're saying is causing a reaction, and that's
yeah.
to
That's
them.
enough for
So
them.
they don't think about the consequences. They're just like, oh, I'm creating something silly or fun to them without being like, oh, this is really damaging.
Yeah, they don't think about the long-term
That happened to
effects.
me once,
So
dude.
short-sighted.
When I first got Instagram and I was starting to pop off, I was like, yo, wouldn't it be funny on Instacart to order the heaviest things possible just so this guy has to drag it up and I could film like a dude delivering 40, 80-pound weights, because Instacart was allowing you to order from like a sporting goods store. And I was literally like, this is hilarious. This poor guy's got to carry all this heavy shit. And I'm like, ew. What am I doing? Like, why am I chasing this hilarious content? But then I'm like, there's real life consequences for this poor man that has to go
for sure.
do this for me to get a fucking giggle and some likes. It's incredibly
But that's also because we live in
sad.
But we live in a country where people don't get slapped for that. See, that's the thing. You see, like back in the day, there was a lot more fear in the sense of like even nowadays. Like I'm gonna give you a small example that back in the day to sell a dime of weed, you would be fucking shook. If somebody on the block that was selling weed found out you sold a dime bag on his in the place where he was selling like weed, you would get slapped up like crazy. Now you have the craziest, wimpiest kids running around selling weed, and you're like looking at them, you're like, bro, are you crazy? Like back in the day, you can get smoked for this. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying
More
that
people need to get murdered.
I'm just saying that we live in a time where everything just goes. And listen, it's cool. I like it. Obviously, nobody wants to promote violence, but there's a certain level of
Dude, we do it in
fear
nature.
that needs to be instilled in sometimes, for discipline.
We do it in nature, right? Deer season, right? You're like, oh, the deer, there's too many deer. Go ahead, go kill the deer, guys. Right? We do this. We constantly do population control for an invasive species.
Well, I mean,
right? We should
had
be
COVID.
population. That didn't do enough because
didn't do enough.
That shit didn't filter.
No, because the COVID didn't hit any real targets, right? It was just kind of like, it wasn't a smart bomb. It was just to go, and then you're like, all right, it wiped out a bunch of people, but it didn't cause any real ripple. Like if that thing was, if COVID killed a few CEOs, different story. You need population control
Jesus.
in each sector of the population. You just need to.
I don't even know what the fuck we need.
We should do
anymore.
that
honestly, I don't even know what we need.
You know what it should be?
Every week you want to whack someone.
Dude, think about it this way:
Spin
in
the
every
wheel.
zip code that you live in, every month we got to kill a few people from your town. Every town. It's like, what is that? Hunger Games? That shit works.
Put it on TV.
Now we're
People
making
will
money.
watch it. People will watch it.
That shit is. I don't know, man. We live in a wild time. I don't even. At this point, I just learned. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch. I'm gonna rewatch the same Adam Sandler movie.
Every
That's
3
when
years.
when you realize Adam Sandler. He went through this period where they were clowning him for a little bit. Remember
The
South Park,
cobbler.
everything. They were making fun of that shit. But now, how crazy life is, you're like, Adam Sandler is like watching the Three Stooges to me. It's just an escape where it's harmless, silly fun. He's not really trying to make you think too much. He's just, it's just good.
How far are we from aliens landing? What do you think?
Oh, they're
here.
They're here. Would you, if you
They're
had
here
a
from Mexico.
if you had a chance
They're
to
here
hook,
from
if you had a
fucking
chance,
Panama.
if you had a chance to have sex with the alien, like as soon as the alien,
So you mean like
Would it be a
like
female
somebody
or
with,
male
like,
alien?
Somebody got like 4 tentacles coming out.
not like a cool alien,
Like they
like
shed.
like he comes down and he's
skin.
like, yo, you know what? Like I really, and he knows the culture too. He's like, I used to listen to this artist, and he like can relate with you and everything's normal conversation. Would you be like, yeah, you know what? Let's give this a go.
Yeah, they look good. They thick. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, my whole thing is like I'm prepping myself mentally. I'm like, yo,
Is it gay if I have sex with a male alien?
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Is it?
You're going yes?
You're
I
saying
mean, I don't think aliens will identify as
Wait,
a
what if
gender.
they're asexual?
that's the best.
Like they can all procreate.
What if they go hold my finger and then you hold my finger and say, what happened just now? Like, I just
Orgasm.
came.
I wish women were like that. I'm making bitches come all day.
Oh my finger, baby.
You know what's crazy is like you and I have never really. When did you come out at any point, or was it just kind of like you were?
I
people
came
knew?
out
I don't remember
in-
knowing or not knowing.
I came out in college, and then I did do a Out magazine piece, but I never like.
You weren't running around in New York being like, "Hey, I'm Zeke."
I
I'm gay. Like
wasn't.
you were
Yeah,
yourself,
just
and it
me.
wasn't your personality.
Correct.
I like that.
Which is
Correct.
amazing. I feel like that's supposed to be the thing because then you're like,
I definitely lost some spots, and
What do you mean, club wise?
yeah, and I don't
Really?
I think about it as okay. Your opinion on this? 'Cause
Yes, I'd love
obviously,
to give mine.
Talented DJ, did my thing, had friends in the industry, whatever. But promoters or some owners did say to me, "Yeah, but you don't bring girls consistent. Like you bring cool people, but like you ain't bringing like 40 bitches.
that's not a fact.
That's not my fucking job.
That's not my job."
Also,
And that's-
who hangs out with more girls than a fucking gay guy? I'm taking no pussy away from anyone in here
What do you
either.
mean? I'm not doing anything.
I'm basically like you should.
I'm helping you.
Yeah,
It's true, and not only that, but you had probably super like crazy amounts of cool people hanging out with
Yeah,
you,
that's what I thought,
which
yeah.
brought
Brought the
eyes
girls.
and brought the girls. So if they're like, "Yo, Zeke is gonna be in the spot, let's go hit that," boom, 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 boom. And you have all these peers coming with you. What other promotion
What
do you
do
need?
you want?
What else do you want? You're bringing cool people into the club. That's what they want. But that's why most of those people lost their clubs because they're dumb.
dude, I've brought more guys than girls my entire life, and I'm straight.
I remember I was going out with him. He's like, "Yo, so what do you got?
You gotta
You
split
bringing
up at the
anything?"
corner, right?
They're like, you're just a nice guy, Val. Are you bringing any girls? I'm like,
Well, I was bringing you for the gay guys. I was like, this is a sacrifice.
yeah, yo, he used to promote me to all the gay guys. I remember Victoria.
Oh, remember Victoria Hilton?
Yes.
So Victoria Hilton, and then
No relation to the Hiltons.
And Victoria was sitting next to me, and Chris was like, "Come on!" He's like, "This is my boy Val. He's gay." And then
Val's in my phone as Val from Russia might be gay.
And then and I was like, Victoria. I said, I have my bro, and I was like, I'm not even about to hit you with the I don't have a problem with it. I said, do you think I'm gay? And he looks at me, and he looks at his other friend. He goes, nah, he ain't gay, but he's gay. Remember your other boy?
Yeah.
Craig?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Craig's fucking gay as the wind.
He goes,
you remember Craig?
He goes,
Ike Love Jones? Remember Craig? Who'd run around and shoot photos too? He helped a lot of shit with the chain smokers and shit.
Okay.
So funny though, but I remember.
Let me take a selfie.
And I said, Victoria, I said, if you said that I'm gay, I said, by your size, I would have to be gay today.
I'd be gay just to hang out with Lindsay Lohan.
I said I would not be able to say no to you. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it would be a yes, sir.
Did you have an exploratory straight period where you're like, that? Never mind,
absolutely.
Pussy's not for me.
Yeah?
Absolutely. I dated a couple
smell?
playmates.
Oh,
Miss
that's a
March.
good way to fight. Dude, you know what? Here's what I'll tell you. You know, some people are like, come on, are you really gay? Like, maybe you're just not fucking the right girls. But you're like, I fuck playmates. And you're like, this isn't for me. Yep, you're gay.
And the thing, like it's not that it wasn't for me. Like, sex is sex. Yeah.
I mean, I guess. For a guy, yes. I'm getting laid. If I come, even
if I don't, if I get erect and you give me a few pumps, I'm happy. But but honestly, I definitely messed around with some girls. The thing that I've always realized is I just don't want to put the effort into you.
Yeah.
Like, if you came up to me and said, "You're hot, let's fuck," maybe.
guy or girl or just anyone.
Girl.
Okay.
Guy or well.
Like basically,
yeah.
you don't have the passion to go and take care of this girl right now.
Hey.
Yeah.
Like my roommate Colt, he used to tell me, he's like, dude, like you just get on these apps and like they hear in like 2-3 hours and then y'all like in a relationship like in a week. He's like, I gotta take these girls on like 3 dates.
Yeah, because you're hanging with the guys.
Before they come over.
Yeah, because the other person on the other side of that app is just another horny dude, right? So you're like, it's just two horny dudes hooking up in 2 hours. But a girl, you gotta, you know, this is gonna sound bad, but I'm just gonna say it. With girls, it's like it's a whole lot of trickery.
You're not gonna kill
it's a whole
them.
lot of trickery going on. Like I gotta do a whole song and dance posturing, like in nature, when like fucking like, oh, look at this bird's dance and that bird's dance. Like I gotta do what I'm doing when I'm trying to get laid as a straight male is I'm literally doing. I'll do anything. Can you imagine how easy to just swipe? It's like texting your. I'm so jealous.
It's wonderful.
They literally just be like, yo, what up? You ready? All right, cool, let's go.
I know. Like my favorite thing about gay guys is that they could just fuck anywhere. Well, a girl, she's like, ew, I'm not going in here. You're like,
Yeah, I feel like dudes have definitely their barrier for like not getting grossed out is a lot easier.
Me and this dude, we banged in a bathroom one time at a club. Sukasa, if you remember.
oh, I remember.
Sukasa's an old one,
on
right?
off of Houston, where there was that upstairs.
Yep, upstairs.
So
So
I remember that spot.
Sukasa, banged in that bathroom, and then we like hated our thing. We banged in like 3 more other club bathrooms, and like then we finally like banged in a bed.
You
and
guys,
we're like,
you guys
like, this is-
bar hopped with your cock, literally, like just straight up fucking.
Dude, that just sounds like a great night out with the boys. Like that just honestly, can you imagine doing everything you want to do in nightlife and still getting to come 3 times during the whole
What
process?
a girl, you had to convince them like for fucking bro just to even try one spot. Forget about 5.
I had to become a photographer to get laid.
you're pretty good at it.
Yeah, I had to develop some skills.
What was the most difficult part about you, you know, standing up for the domestic abuse and everything else?
And sexual violence.
Yeah, sexual violence.
Because sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to add on to Val's is like, as a man, that's the hard, you know, you get clowned in society. Oh, every guy wants to come. Every guy, there's like, I say it all the time, but I say it because at the end of the day,
You have a joke behind it.
well, no, because as a straight man, no woman can rape me. right? No one, because it's like it's that fucking mentality of like I'm lucky to get pussy, right? But and so it's we get clowned if we ever come out and go like, well, that sexual experience was against my will, and I was like, shut up, you got laid, right? So compounding Val's statement, like that's really hard to do.
To the straight guys who have been, drugged or condoms popped or whatever, that sucks.
What's condoms popped?
No, like when girls forcefully pop the condom before you come, and then they do it on purpose so that they can have a kid and stuff like that.
Oh, I'll just kill a bitch. Be like, I'm just gonna let you know right now. I'll be like, I'm gonna fucking murder you. You're like, oh, I'm gonna lock him in a relationship. Bitch, you about to be in the Atlantic Ocean if you play these games. Yeah, I'm gonna trap you at the bottom of the sea.
What were you gonna follow up with this?
But when I decided to go public with my story, like on Good Morning America, be loud about it, I regret it now because I wasn't ready for when I did it. Again, that was during a period when I wasn't my best self.
It was impulsive, right?
It wasn't more impulsive. It was nobody was listening to me. And
it wasn't strategic in that sense. Yeah.
Nobody was listening to me, and I had the ability for everyone to listen to me.
Yeah.
And still everyone didn't listen to me, but like that was...
Do you regret it in a way that of admitting that it happened, or you regret in the execution of the admission?
I definitely still would have probably ended up being an advocate, speaking about it. I just think at the moment that I chose to, maybe timing, I could have waited 6 months for me.
Obviously, I read all the your statements and everything. You said your regret at that time was not also pursuing charges and stuff too, right? So that was part of, you almost needed a little cooling off period before you lined up your ducks in a row.
When I decided that I wasn't going to be able to pursue charges, I had done that because I didn't want to be on the public record. And then I changed my mind basically and put myself on the public record. I was never able to, prosecute or go after my assailant, but I was and have been able to change and impact people, and that's really cool. It's really something that makes me happy. I get messages every day from a survivor or somebody who writes me and says, "Hey, just so you know, I saw your story and it helped me." Or somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, I know like you probably don't know anybody in uptown Minnesota, but I played your interview for my class. There was this boy who was struggling because he was being sexually assaulted by a family member, and he saw you and thought that he could get better and go through it. Not knowing me, not whatever, but
it's fulfilling.
If Zeke can do it, somebody else can do it." And I'm not saying I'm the model of anything, but I have been able to get to this place where I got a clear head, a solid body, dating people, whatever, and
clear your mind,
trying to live
and help people. Mm-hmm. It's a big thing. It really is, because sometimes you got to take the bullet as far as like, having that tough conversation and then not only is it take the weight off your chest, but it also brings relief into other people's lives.
Yeah, and now I look at it, and since then I have definitely looked at it as a responsibility.
Well, it's a huge responsibility.
If I'm going to step into it, you got to.
You also own it, yeah, and it's kind of like you're normalizing the ability to show vulnerability, right? Which is rare, right? And the more people can normalize something, the more it becomes normal. Mm-hmm. The more someone could be like, you know what, that wasn't right. Instead of like I said, most guys, if I was in your position, I would just chalk it up to like, whatever, I'm a dude, I got laid, right? Mm-hmm. It's just that voice in your head. You're like, oh, that's what society tells me. So it's incredibly, I would, like I said, I'm not in your shoes, but I would think that that had to be harder to do than coming out.
Yes.
Right. Because it's an admission of
it's an admission of, yes, there is a part of you that feels demasculated. Like, I remember sitting across from Ebro, Hot 97, and he was my boss when I worked there, but now he's interviewing me as DJ Zeke Thomas is coming out with this story, and I know you, brother.
Right.
Like, how didn't you defend yourself? Like, if something like that happened to me, like, I'm a big dude, like, whatever. And yeah, I was drugged. I was out of my mind, or not, in my full faculties. Right. So yeah, I couldn't defend myself. But there's also many times when you freeze in that situation. You don't.
Yeah, you
right. But also defending yourself leads to public attention, right? If you beat up a guy for and now all of a sudden the story comes out about this,
about you.
They're like, oh shit, what were they doing in that bathroom together, right? So a lot of people just like, oh, let me keep that
let me
under
stay
wraps.
ghost. Yeah, let me stay ghost on this. It's a super tough conversation to have, and not only that, but it's also you're considering the fact, like, damn, I have all this family that's going to hear this.
Well, and the weight of my last name.
I have all these friends. I have all this network that I'm with. Like this, that. And you start considering all this stuff. It's a lot. It's a big weight to carry.
I definitely feel bad and felt bad at the time for my family and some of my friends.
You shouldn't, though. You shouldn't.
Well, this is why. Because at some point I started, I would share articles or things I was doing. And I was excited about it. I'm making this difference. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And one of my friends wrote to me and he said, I love what you're doing and I love you. But when I see these articles, it's hard for me to read about my friend getting raped every single time.
It should be difficult to read. It should be, though. Life, if we're going to go deal with uncomfortableness, let's deal with it, right? Because this country
and also
has a
real people support real people, meaning like, yo, it's like, bro, it's like being a Navy SEAL. When people die, you got to go to the family and tell them, like, yo, one of my best friends on the field died, right? And if you had to go through this as a friend, people got to see it, unfortunately, and they got to be there for you to be like, yo, listen, like, I'm going to hold my boy down. It is what it is. Like, it's tough. It's hard to read 24/7 about it, and it's in my face.
Bro, like, it's
but
like
it is what it is.
This girl posts like her cat died after being alive for 23 years. You're like, I'm supposed to feel bad for that, right? Everyone's supposed to shower her with love. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's not a real problem.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, like, you should be there for the people that are
you
truly.
Saying you just don't like pussy?
Fucking hey. Let's go. Fuck that.
Nah, but listen, at the end of the day, it's a if anything, my personal opinion, I always tell my boys all the time, I said, yo, listen, no matter how alpha you think, no matter you are, and no matter how much of a man you think you are, pride, ego, this, that, and the third, I said, it would make you 10 times more of a man if you could stand up to your vulnerability. So I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to be honest with you because if you can voice to the room your vulnerability, knowing that somebody can use that against you, and you could still wake up the next day and not be fearful and carry yourself with your chest out and be 10 toes down and be like, that makes you a man. In my opinion, because you don't have to be fearful that somebody's ever going to use anything against you, this, that, and third. To me, you already spoke the truth. You already let it out. You own it. If anybody ever hurts you with that truth and you let that break you, then you're weak. So how alpha can you be?
Yeah.
How alpha can you be if you let that break you?
Yeah.
But if you're really tough and the truth is out there, you'll eat it and go, yeah, you're right. I'm good. And you keep it moving, and that's how you heal, right?
Right, right. But in the male community, it's a really hard thing to be vulnerable because people are incredibly short-sighted and like small-minded, right? Like, can I just ask this question? Like I said, I don't think about sports. Is there an openly gay basketball player?
Yeah. There are now. Yeah,
Okay.
There people have come out in the past. I'm not sure if there's anyone actively.
People didn't even want to guard Magic Johnson. Back in the day, right? Like,
that's crazy. I mean? It's crazy though.
Right. So you think about that kind of shit. You're like, I also am scared. Like, I would be,
things advance, bro.
Thank God I was blessed with an easier life that I just like pussy, right? In that sense, where like society kind of my entire life accepted my sexual preference.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely said it. I've definitely said I wish I was straight. There's definitely been.
I wish I was gay.
No, but now people wish they were gay. Though.
I wish I was gay.
And he goes, "Don't wish, baby. Just go try it out."
dude. I learned how to eat escargot. I might learn to suck cock. You know what I mean?
Nah,
I might need to develop a taste for a little wiener.
Yo,
The trans girls are making it a lot easier. I'm telling you, because they're like, trans is a good transition to gayness for me, because I'm like, all right, I'm being introduced to cock, but it's being packaged on a woman.
Yes.
Right? You're like, okay.
You know what's funny? The progressive humor of in the barbershop, and especially in South Brooklyn, right? So, it's like a more or less conservative like area. So it's so funny that as the years go on, the jokes went from like, nah, it's gay, nah. And then next thing you know, now when dudes complain about their relationship, the joke now transferred to, damn, I wish I was gay, homie. Like, you know what I mean? So now it's like now it became so, now it's shifted because they're like, I don't even want these traditional fucking problems anymore. You know what I mean? But you see, it's the progress. And unfortunately,
progress has definitely happened.
And unfortunately, bro, like,
I'm in the recall.
We're not going to need women in 100 years.
Oh no!
But the women are talking about they don't need the men anymore.
No, they need us. Trust me.
They're talking about the vibrators doing a lot better.
They can't.
The women out here talking about I don't need no man, Papa. Like you gotta. I'm making my own bread
I
out
got
here.
my bread. I got my OnlyFans. In fact,
until we have
$2.99 to see me, baby.
Yo, you know what my favorite is though in the barbershop? Yo, the OG gays, the old school gays. These dudes were so lethal and so actually a lot tougher than most of the alpha guys that would come into the fucking shop. I would look at both of them, and sometimes I would honestly make the room mad uncomfortable because I love like uncomfortable humor, and especially if I know that like the gay dude is like my boy, I'd be like, yo, this dude will smoke you. I said, bro, you don't even know, because you understand how much he had to go through to be back in the day.
How many times he had to fight?
But yo, he had to scrap it out. He literally fought through everything, mentally, emotionally, and he just laughs. He's like a Navy SEAL at that point. He just looks at you. He's like, yo, you're funny. He's like, you're a funny boy.
Louis C.K. has that bit. He's like, you ever look at gay guys? He's like, gay guys are in shape. They got muscles. They own businesses. They're in your face.
They're happy.
Aggressive.
They're happy.
He's like, have you seen straight men
that are married?
He's like, straight men. He's like, they don't smoke. They barely drink. They ask for permission from their wife. He's like, these dudes are. He's like, gay men are men and straight men are.
Yo, that joke, I remember that. Louis C.K. hit it. He hit it. That's a fact, though. For real. It's true. It's true. Oh, boy. No, the old school, anybody old school, though, like, I just love them so much. All the old school people. Obviously, the ones that were not extreme. The ones that were, like, cool.
Dude, I was going to say, you miss DJing, and I kept thinking about, do you DJ for the Suns? Would you? Where do you actually get that outlet? Sorry, I'm just, bouncing back off the gay subject for now.
Absolutely. I DJ'd most recently. I've just been DJing a lot of like corporate and charity stuff.
Where the money is.
DJ'd for Glad.
Sick.
DJ'd a couple White House events.
Sick.
Glad is the Ziploc bag company?
No.
I'm kidding.
That would be a great account.
Dude, so that's way better.
Account.
The Ziploc money
pays. And just making mixes. I've done a couple, like, I played Panorama Room a few times in New York.
Fire.
I like that place. Because I'd never been to Roosevelt Island, actually. So, like, going over there was
It's crazy.
cool.
I've never been. But everybody talks
I
about
thought
it.
it was a prison.
Yeah.
Anything blank island, I assume, is some sort of prison system, like Staten Island is a prison system for Italians.
Staten Island is literally people are just testing out the new variants of Xanax.
I'll tell you what, though, I do parties in Staten. I'm kind of, that's the thing is, like, these kids don't even party like that anymore. I don't even do parties in New York. I have to go to Staten Island, where it feels like 10 years ago still.
Wow.
Because in Staten Island, they're doing open format. The girls are fucking wild and fun.
No, they're stuck. They're stuck. They're like 30 years. But you know what's crazy about Staten Island? I think the pharmacy companies test a lot of their drugs in that area. I swear to God, I think they release like new variants of like drugs, and they're like, "Yo, homies, like enjoy."
No one in Staten Island got COVID because they literally live on a garbage dump. COVID's like, we're good here.
Like these dudes are like doing crazy complex math. I'm like, "You good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm off the Xanax. I'll be alright." He's like, "How you doing, cuz?"
Yeah, Staten Island. Yeah, Staten Island's having a really nice Renaissance influencer period right now. All the Italian influencers are
They're all
coming
cooking
from
pizza, eating sandwiches.
Yeah,
they're cool. They're cool. They're funny. But it's good that you're getting to DJ into these spots too.
Yeah,
like that's
still
fun.
get to play. Definitely, still wanted. I did NBA All-Star Weekend last year in Indianapolis, so that's always been a consistent gig for me.
Can I come back with you?
Please.
I'm starting to take photos again.
It's
Can
in
I pull up
it's in
too,
San
or
Francisco
No,
this
you
year.
can hold my camera.
Can I
please.
can I come also?
Yeah, pull up.
I'll hold the tripod.
Right here, right here. I'll give you a tripod to hold.
Yo, I need to
One
pull
leg's
up,
a little
please.
shorter.
Because you guys got to understand.
It's in San Francisco, and then it comes actually to Phoenix.
Nah, you okay? Gonna be in
I'll
San
pull-
Francisco?
Yo, last time I went to San Francisco, we went to SantaCon. I was at one of his
There's
parties.
a SantaCon in San
That's where it
Francisco?
started.
Oh, that's where it started.
Yeah,
I
San
was-
Francisco.
Yo,
created
I'm
San-
standing in the bottle section, like on top of a chair, and I'm just standing there, and some dude comes over to me. He kind of grazes me and gives me one of these little tap on the ass. I turn around, I'm like, yo, my man, I feel you, bro, but like, you could just chill for a second. He's like, nah. I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, all right. I said, you go ahead. I said, you can give me 2 more, but I'm only giving you 2 more. I said, after that, I said, I don't know. I said, you get a pass for 2 more.
See, yeah, I'm one of those people that if a gay dude's hitting on me, I feel like I don't need to talk to a woman. That's the best compliment.
Oh no, yeah, gay. I like my girl gets uncomfortable when gay dudes hit on me. I love it. I'm like, babe. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why are you getting mad? I said, bro, when dudes constantly message you and hit on you, you don't see me getting upset. I said, bro, if you're confident in in the pudding, don't worry about it.
She's not,
Let's
because she
go.
knows that a man could. That's the thing.
She's like,
it's like a man
It's Mr.
could
Steal
take
Your Girl.
someone could steal me away very easily. Because a woman realizes she's like, damn, all I got's pussy. This guy's got a job. He's got like most
jet.
men. Yeah, he's
She
got all
goes,
his
Val.
shit
She
together.
goes, Val. It's not that I'm uncomfortable that they're complimenting. She goes, it just happens way too often. I said, listen,
We're in West Hollywood.
I'm a type, baby. I'm a type. What do you want me to do? What do you
Picked out this outfit.
I said I'd give myself a good beard fade. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Crazy. You have anything that you're working on? Any big projects?
Trying to still grow the champagne business. Which
Let's go.
Really excited about.
How hard is it to grow an alcohol business?
So we've been in it now since 2013.
Wow.
Debuted at the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia in 2016 and made it in Total Wines. It's definitely been a grind. I think the hardest thing is most of the business I do is international. So dealing with actual tariffs and the ports closed and just really different problems that I never thought I would cross my thing.
It is a true
Having to
champagne,
get-
right?
Yes.
So it has to be made in Champagne, France.
Yes, in
Isn't that
Champagne,
wild?
France.
You know that?
Yeah, I know. You have to buy land. Also, you have to have a certain
It's
amount.
like the Treaty of Versailles.
We were gonna open up a champagne company called Bapier. It's literally was gonna be named after my boy Bopper.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like 13 of us. We took a picture thinking we're signing an LLC, and nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
But it's a crazy tough business.
It is,
Super
because
political, right?
Super competitive.
And alcohol is, one of the oldest hustles.
It's like
And,
it's like oil.
Yep, people want to stay in and they want to keep you out. But we're the little engine that could, making our way in, and definitely, we're ahead of where we thought or where we were expected to be. People definitely didn't think that,
Why champagne?
it's low sugar, 0 sugar actually. We have 0 additive sugar, no headache, so it was more healthy. It's the drink of celebration. My dad celebrating, me at the DJ time when we launched it,
Right.
celebrating. I thought we could build something around that, so I designed actually all the labels, all the bottles. That's like my heart's piece.
Fire.
That's awesome. And getting that all approved through like the French government, that was a process because they have to approve your labels a certain way.
This we like, this we don't like.
Yeah.
No, the French are cocksuckers.
and they definitely weren't thrilled that Americans were
Black
now,
Americans.
Yes, black
Right, they're
Americans.
never
also
thrilled, but-
OG racist.
They're not
Champagne.
thrilled. They're not thrilled. They're never thrilled because a lot of people from America have been trying to make champagne companies recently. So they're like, "Fuck, this sucks."
That's
that we
why
have-
most people just make Prosecco, right? Because you can make
There's
that
the
in
Prosecco's,
California.
There's the California wines,
Sparkling
or
wine or
sparklings, and even the UK now things are growing and they're
Crazy.
making wines. So
Crazy.
It's so crazy that all these things have these rules, right? Like cognac needs to be made in Cognac, France, to be called a cognac.
bourbon Gotta be made in Kentucky.
right?
But I like that though. I do
Tequila
like
has
that.
to come from Mexico.
Irish whiskey.
I do like it. You know why? There has to be because in
gatekeeping?
100 years, like you said, when we forget about the Holocaust, we can't forget this.
About what?
We are not forgetting about
No, but I'm saying like you're saying like times change and then people start forgetting shit. Like when you still have to go to that place to do it, you're like you can't avoid that history. You're like we have to do it. Like it's just,
I'll tell you what though, you know, I don't want to say this with you on here because I don't want to tarnish this episode. But to me, it's like, you know, I was used to say all the time, like, what did Jews bitch about before the Holocaust, right? Before the Holocaust, like, what was our like, oh, this is, you know, guys.
everything. They bitched about
No,
everything.
but like, when was the last time we were really persecuted on that kind of level? Like, what did they complain about before the Holocaust? Because like
still
after the
racism
Holocaust,
and persecution.
yeah, but the Holocaust
They
was
would-
like the Holocaust is just an easy to point to thing. You're like, hey, the Holocaust, and everyone's like, oh yeah,
I'll
the
tell
Jews
you what
got
they
fucked.
bitched about.
Yeah, but they just got re-upped with October 7th, right? They got the Jews re-upped for another
Got a new
100
one.
years with that new one.
Damn.
The Jews are like, yo, this is the Jews might have been self-satisfied. They're like, yo, we need
I
to
had to find out that the Jews created lending. They were literally the ones that came
lending
up with
money.
Yeah,
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, okay.
I didn't know that.
Well,
I love it.
what else are we known for?
I don't know, dude. The Jews have a listen. I think everyone in their cute little way has something to add to the table. Okay.
Yeah, that's what makes New York awesome. Is it's the melting pot of every culture's
Every
contribution
culture,
to
yeah.
like every little thing.
Ukrainians, we got the potatoes, the
The
bread,
potatoes,
the
bread?
potatoes.
The Italians and the Irish have that too.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what we had.
That's the problem. Why this
Boxing, we
country is
got
so
boxing.
split on Ukraine, because they're like, what the fuck does Ukraine do?
Oil.
Does
We got oil in Ukraine. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's why they're trying to get in.
I mean, let's go to Canada. That's where the real oil is.
Yeah, you're right. It's a huge piece of land between Russia and Europe. It's huge. It's the biggest piece of land.
What, Ukraine?
Yeah, in Europe, it's actually like, it's a huge piece of land. It's a huge piece of land. Like stupid. That's why everybody.
I don't know enough about politics, but I just know
I don't
it's
care
too
about
late in the world's thing where it's like, dude, we have textbooks, we have globes now. Like, stop it. That's
We
it.
have
Everything.
globes.
No, like everything. Like we're all solidified.
Did you see people still can't pick out people?
Yeah, but at least you're like, dude, we've already drawn the
Name a
lines.
country in Africa.
We drew
Just
the lines
one.
already. We already drew the lines on the world. We're done. Stop.
My boy Scott, that he invited me to go to Ghana with him, bro. I was so annoyed.
When
So
last weekend?
you're not for the Gulf of America.
You got invited to go to Ghana?
Yeah, I was supposed to go
Last
visit.
week?
No,
With Mayor Bass?
That's
in
what I was gonna
December.
say.
He went last month, and he invited me to go visit his family. Like I know him since we were like, bro, babies. We were in we were in high school together, and he invited me to go, bro. I looked at this trip. It looks so fun. Africa is popping. It's a good time.
You need a
bro.
lot of
There's-
money to go to Africa.
It's
though.
a lot of fun shit, bro. There's so many things to see. It's literally like its own planet, bro. There's just so much cool stuff there.
Where we all came from.
So much cool stuff, like so much cool stuff. I really want to go on that trip where they go through all the safaris and everything else.
I want to stay in that giraffe hotel. Have you seen
Yo.
that? Yeah, I want to stay in that.
But it's mad expensive, I heard.
I bet it is.
Yeah, you stay in a hotel with a giraffe?
Yo, you literally wake up, the fucking neck is literally just peeking out at you.
Yeah.
One of my-
I'm worried about you got to get all the shots and stuff, right? You can't go over there without literally
Oh, malaria
you
shot.
get all those things that.
I fuck with Africa, Japan, like places like that.
Well, you can't smoke weed in Japan. So
I know.
I'm like,
You smoke
I'm
a lot?
almost. Oh,
Oh, we got to get high. You know what's crazy?
You smoke
getting-
fireweed?
You know what's? It's getting crazy how bad America is, and this is going to
actually,
be
you know
playfully
what?
racist.
That's my favorite thing
What?
about the Suns.
The Suns, Phoenix, Arizona, you can smoke weed.
Oh, you can smoke weed, everything legal, and we definitely got some.
They got
We got
dispensaries.
some stoners on our team.
Good.
There's a lot of dispensaries right now in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Arizona. Arizona's cool. There's some.
Better smoke than drink. That's what I say.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Scottsdale is a fun.
Except
fucking town.
Sean Champagne, which is
It goes well with weed.
Yeah, isn't it funny though? That's the thing with the alcohol business. Like 50 will be doing interviews and then be like, they'll talk to him, and he's like, I got this alcohol business, I got that and that. I go, you drink? He's like, nah.
He made more money off of everything else.
Formula 50.
Dude.
Yeah, I'll never forget when I went to that concert that you got me the ticket to, and I was just so high off of shrooms, and I'm taking a picture with him, and I kept telling him, I'm like, I know this person. He goes, I know. And he just I'm like, but I don't know Amanda from your PR. He goes, I know. And then he just keeps he's like, look at the camera. And I go, me and my girlfriend from New York. He looks at me, he goes, I know. Yo, it was the funniest thing. He kept, and then on the fourth, I know. I'm like, but I know George King. He looks at me, he goes, I know. And then I was like, all right.
Because you're the 90th person. You're the 90th person that Googled this PR person to him. And he's like, I know Amanda. He's like, I know.
I said, yo, that's the last. He goes, that was the last I know I got from him. And I said, I'm not saying a word to him. He's
that's the biggest struggle, is finding a relatability with someone that you're a fan of, to not sound like a clown.
Yes.
Because I always sound like a clown. I'm like, oh, I know this guy. And I'm like, what did I just say that?
Well, and you got to do that, you know.
It's a bad
You got to
move.
do that on dating apps.
Yeah.
Like, you ever match with somebody and they're hot.
Yep.
You're excited. Oh my God. The interest, they're like, they like the favorite thing of you. They like this. So you're like, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then you ring back, you're like, oh shit, I just said I'm gonna marry you, and I haven't even. This is like the first
meeting we have. Yeah.
I'm showing my mental illness.
Yeah, because it gets you cringe yourself. You're like, yo, I woke up next morning. I'm like, yo, why would I say that?
Can I unsend?
Yeah. Why would I ever say something?
I send a decent amount of apology texts after a night of drinking.
Yeah, I say some dumb shit. I'm like, wow, I'm bugging out. That fucking shrooms hit me hard.
Dude, I've told strippers I'll take them out of this life. I say crazy shit.
Take them out of this life is crazy.
Take you out of this lifestyle, baby.
Dude, I'll
Make an honest woman out of you.
Oh my God.
Yo, make an honest woman out of you is crazy.
I love it. Do you have anything you want to plug? Anything to the champagne? What is it? What's the Instagram? What's the website?
Sherlon Champagne. Instagram is just Sherlon, CHEURLIN Champagne. Sherlon.com.
Sherlon sounds like a sexy black woman.
Sherlon Thomas.
Sherlon Thomas.
But no, plugging just
The Phoenix Suns guys, check those guys out. They're
yeah,
out here
check out
up
the
and coming.
Suns.
And your Instagram.
My Instagram is Zeke_Thomas. ZEKE
Fire.
_
I gotta follow
Thomas.
you as well.
Dude,
Yeah, we're gonna hang out more now.
Yeah, we do.
love
Now
this.
we're old. We got our stuff together.
Also,
what
you know,
I
I love that we have the New York nightlife report. Like, that's a fire thing. Like, people don't understand. That's like going to the same high school.
People know how to act.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
also
mean?
it's like going to the same high school, bro. It really is, because you don't need to explain certain things for the person to understand you.
And
I
I'm
love
happy that you're not near me, because now I have a reason to go to Phoenix.
Yeah, pull up.
I've never been to a basketball game.
That's something we need to make happen.
Let's go.
That's
Me
something
too.
we
I
need
really
make
want to go to
happen.
Phoenix, like a Suns, like
do
that would
it.
be a sick fucking game to go to, bro.
Let's do
We should
it.
go together. Bring the girls.
Fuck the girls. Boys' night. Boys' night.
But you know what I love about being around New Yorkers is that the person doesn't have to explain his quirkiness to me, or I don't have to explain my quirkiness and be like, bro, don't worry about it. He's good. Like,
good.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
that's we're good. Like, you don't know.
You're vetted.
Yeah, you get vetted instantly, especially when you have that report card.
I do feel a lot of people apologize in advance for when they're about to introduce me, or like they're like, "Yo, you're gonna meet my homie Kirill. He's a little weird." You know, like I've heard people are like, "Yo, I had to give this girl like a heads up about everything."
I feel like people do that for me too. They go, "Yo, this kid's a little out of pocket."
I
Sometimes.
just tell people you're.
People,
Jesus.
My friend told me when I moved to Phoenix, now that I'm in Phoenix, being myself, he goes, "See, you don't gotta show up everywhere mad stoned. Like, people like trying to talk to you and stuff." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, but they drunk. And I don't want to talk to them.
That's true though. It's
Oh,
I'm
true.
not being me. I don't want to be out and sober.
The fuck, everybody's drunk and I can't have a good time, bro.
Yeah. They're like, they say you're goofy. I'm like, I am goofy.
Yeah, you got to be who you are. You don't got to hide it. I don't also try not to hide it as well. Sometimes, obviously, in certain rooms, I'm like, damn, I got to tone it down a little bit. But
I just go my body, my choice. I'm like, I'm putting this in me, and
Hey.
that's it, and deal with it.
let's do it, baby.
Amazing.
Amazing.
This was such a great time. I'm so happy that we reconnected.
We did this.
I'm using this podcast to just reconnect with friends,
Oh, yeah.
and then just This is it.
And we definitely we're doing a Suns game. We got to do some shit in LA. Hopefully.
Do you look at porn?
And we're gonna smoke. Yes.
Okay, so check this out. Our podcast is sponsored.
Please don't. I don't want to see your porn. I really.
No one wants to see
No,
my
no,
porn.
no, not his porn.
Are you kidding me?
I thought you were going to be like, well, on.
So check this out. The next layer of my career. This podcast is sponsored by Bang.com.
Hey.
I don't know if you've ever been. The promo code is ALFBANG, ALFBANG. You get a 2-day free trial.
Hey.
2 days is all you need.
All right.
That's how good that
check it
site
out.
is.
Give me that
That's
promo
it.
code.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Alf Bang, don't forget.
give me a little wet platinum.
Do you watch
Let it
straight
go.
or gay porn?
It depends on my mood. Obviously, mostly gay, but there's some bisexual porn sometimes. Sometimes there's what you call it? Trans porn. Sometimes there's girl on girl porn. I love a group. Love a group.
A group's great.
Love
A lot
group.
going. You got that ADD. You got that ADD. You
got the VR headset now? Whew.
Oh, you
No.
fucked with that?
Really?
You fucked around
I'll
with that?
change your life. You come to Phoenix. In fact, I'll probably have to clean up my entire floor after you get done.
I'm
with
coming
it.
in with the black light. I'm coming in with the black light, so be ready. I got the black light flashlight, so
Yeah.
we're gonna scan the
I'm
whole
scared
room.
of VR porn. If I get into VR porn,
You'll
you
get
can forget it.
you'll get
I won't need human
it's
interaction.
addictable. I literally stopped because for a week straight I was just like, fuck this. Oh, daddy.
That shit is whatever. It's like a New Year. It's like a nightlife set, though, in a way.
Dude, that's the future. The future is we're probably not going to have any more human interaction. More and more and more and more.
We're gonna start interacting through our headsets.
Yeah.
Through
When
AI.
Neuralink can make me come without just putting a
we're
projection
gonna
in my
be the
eyeball.
old ones who are like, look at those.
I had to jerk off uphill both ways back in the day.
It's crazy.
Jergens was all they had. Jergens lotion.
Oh my god.